And if I push period, nice. We go to the next phase. Where is the other player? I've lost myself. Oh, there we go. Alright. So, let's give this a little test. Fire shield ready. Okay. So, we seem to be getting ready. Okay, so here I'm just going to print how many fireballs we expect. Generating number of fireballs. Oh, that should have been a comma there. And we'll say fireballs. And then every time we create a fireball, I'm just going to print creating fireball I. And then every time we create that fireball, I'm just going to print fireball init. And we'll say fireball ready here. And I think, yeah, that should hopefully work.
Phase 1.
Well, it won't work, but it will help us figure out what's going wrong. Okay, so
Phase 2. Fight.
okay, so we created 4 fireballs. And why on earth can we not see them? Oh, no, that. So that our creator is the fire shield. That's a bit odd. So our fireball very clearly has a sprite, has particles. Huh. It should be rotating. So what I guess is that this distance might be way off. And maybe we are too small. So if I make this giant, hopefully we'll be able to see what's happening.
Collect stars and weapons. Phase 2. Fight.
Ah, there we go. That was odd. Okay. So, it looks like our distance was maybe a bit off. And our scale definitely doesn't need to be that big. Cool. And one thing I also realize is our base speed is probably off by about a factor of 10. So we're going to increase that.
Phase 1. Collect stars and weapons.
Okay.
Phase 2. Fight.
Nice. Alright. So we can see our fireballs all seem to have been generated and they're rotating around their own axis, but they're not rotating around the player. And in fact, that's fine. We don't want them to rotate around the player. In fact, what we want is we want to say our position. Here we go. So we don't set our position here, do we? Or do we? Okay, so what we can do is we can grab this helper and chuck it in here, right? And we'll bring these here, and we'll plonk, oops, we'll plonk those in there as well. So we can essentially let the shield calculate the distance, the initial distance for each of the fireballs, right? And the number of fireballs, I just realized, is 1 plus this number, 1.0, right? Okay, we don't need this log, and we don't need this log, or indeed this log. Alright, so when we create the fireball, what we really want to do is say that the fireball dot position is equal to a vector 2 of 0 on the x-axis and distance on the y rotated over our angle for fireball I, right? And we'll say fireball is equal to, and just do it like that. There we go. So what I'm saying here is that we move the fireball away from the player at an angle dependent on which fireball it is, right? In a circle. Okay, and then what we can do is we can func process delta, and we can just set our rotation as plus equals our spin speed times delta. And here we'll say our const base spin speed is equal to roughly about 10. Okay. And then our spin speed, right now we will just return our base spin speed for now. So essentially the fire shield itself is rotating, and then the fireballs are rotating within the fire shield. So there's sort of like a spinning effect in both in both scopes. Right, so the entire shield is spinning, and the fireballs are spinning within the shield. One thing I always like to do is to jump into the particles and make sure that we're drawing them without the local coordinates, right? So that will create more of a trail behind the fire as they spin. Okay. Let's see how this feels. Oh. Distance. Yeah, we don't need to set that. We can just say delta times spin speed, and we'll say that the func, and this is going to be a helper. I need to remember to put an underscore on this stuff. It's going to return the base spin speed plus the strength over 10.0, and then we can bring that base speed down to about 5. Okay. And then also what we'll do is we'll say strength minus equals delta, and if our strength is less than 0, we destroy ourselves, right? Cool. So essentially that is going to make the fireballs slow down as they approach their death. And if we go over here, we want the same thing to happen here. So we can just say our strength is minus equal our, we'll say decay rate times delta, and we'll put our decay rate, const decay rate at roughly 2.0, I think, to begin with. And yeah. And we'll say times, well, plus strength over about 10.0. Okay. So this is all a bit of an estimation. Let's just see how we're doing in terms of the actual effect.
Phase 1. Collect stars and weapons.
Okay, so let's load a fireball.
Phase 2. Fight.
Okay. Nice. So the shield itself is spinning way too quickly. We can get rid of this weird little sprite in the middle because it's unnecessary. And if you can hear that construction outside, I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. Promise you. Don't know if that will help. Okay, so we've got rid of that weird fire shield effect. Now let's just decrease our fire shield base spin speed. Maybe just do it like a 2 and bring this down to like a 20. Okay.
Phase 1. Collect stars and weapons.
So if I load up my fire and switch into phase 2, and now I shoot my... Wow! That's quite cool. I mean, it's a little bit confusing visually, Are we seeing a slowdown?